These days, work is in trouble. We've outsourced most of our manufacturing to other countries, and with that, we sent away good jobs and our capability to make things. American Giant is a clothing company that's pushing back against this tide. They make all kinds of high-quality clothing and activewear, like sweatshirts, jeans, dresses, jackets, and so much more, right here in the USA. So when you buy American Giant, you create jobs in towns and cities across the country. And jobs bring pride, purpose. They stitch people together. If all that sounds good to you, visit American-Giant.com and get 20% off your first order when you use code STAPLE20 at checkout. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com with promo code STAPLE20.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
We're all so capable and so powerful and so pure. And we have the power to support and love ourselves. It's hard to remember that. But these moments where the pain is so bad that you can't move and you just want to give up, those moments are there to show you how much love you have inside you.
Welcome to the Beautifully Broken podcast, brought to you by AmpCoil. I'm your host, Freddie Kimmel, and on this show we discuss the common thread survivors share after walking through the fire, the practitioners making a difference, and the treatment modalities that deliver healing back into the hands of the people who need it most. Witness the inspiration we gain by navigating the human experience with grace, humility, and a healthy dose of mistakes. Because part of being human is being beautifully broken. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Beautifully Broken podcast. You are going to be pleasantly surprised, or you're going to have your socks knocked off. I don't know which one, but I am here with a survivor, which I don't, as I did this episode and I started a brainchild it this morning, I had this like egg pop out of me. Why am I not having more survivors on? So today we have a very special survivor. We have Whelehan. Allie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Freddie.
Well, I'm honored you're here. So Allie is a survivor on so many levels, but I just want to go in a little bit to your story. You know, you're one of the tribe. You're someone who's struggled with long-term chronic illness. Can you start us off and just give us a little bit of a timeline of where that started and kind of a few of the things that you've been through?
Yeah, so I grew up a pretty pleasant childhood. I played a lot in the woods on my horse. I had wonderful parents. And then as I started to grow up, things started to come up for me. I developed 2 eating disorders at a young age, starting at the age of 12. And from there, I started to kind of get glimpses of different invitations to come into a different part of myself. I started meditating. Healing definitely happened. But I don't think it was until 2016 when I developed Lyme disease in the brain that I was called to really make a big shift and to discover some deep stuff that was hidden inside. And yeah, I got sick. I had to leave boarding school. My mom basically was my functioning as me, feeding me, taking care of me, taking me to doctor's appointments. Mm-hmm. Did the whole PICC line thing. They pumped me full of antibiotics. I remember, feeling very helpless, but I also don't really remember a lot of the time because my brain kind of blocked that out or just made me forget it. And then there came a time where I really thought I was going to die. I really thought the pain was just going to completely encompass me and I was just going to become the pain. And that was just not an option. I would rather be gone. Then my mom, who is pretty cool, decided that I couldn't give up and that I was going to go to Switzerland to this really cool alternative clinic where they did things like stem cell treatment and heat therapy and all different boosting mechanisms to like get your immune system working again so you can fight the disease yourself and you don't need these antibiotics or these other things. You're really making your body be resilient and heal. So after that, I really was skeptical. I really did not want to get better. I didn't realize I didn't even want to get better. I was so scared of health. I was so scared of this new way of thinking because my brain had completely changed. I was not the same person I was before, whether it was the disease or the trauma or whatever. I just had definitely changed and I didn't think that I was getting better. And it took my mom and my friends and my family to really show me, hey, you can walk today. Did you know that you couldn't walk 2 weeks ago? Things like that really showed me that I was starting to get better. And I think I started to want to get better. And I started to see a future for myself and realize that I could create that future. So I graduated high school. My family may have taken a few online classes for me to make that happen. But I graduated high school. I worked over the summer really hard teaching sailing, doing something I really love. And then I left. This time last year, I got on a plane and I went to Thailand with my backpack and pretty much no plan. And from there, I traveled around Southeast Asia and then to Southern Africa. And I got on a boat and I sailed up the Atlantic. And now I found myself in Hawaii. And I'm learning how to study and how to continue to create that future as well as live in the present moment and kind of dance with that in between.
So if we had a cinematic aspect here, we would hear just a slow rumbling of applause from the audience. It's such a great story, Allie. And I know there's other young adults, because how old are you? You're 19?
19, yeah.
You're 19 years old. So you've been through a lot in your short life. I know there are other adults, young adults out there and adults, but there's young adults out there struggling with long-term chronic illness, Lyme, especially neurological Lyme. And I know that can be a dark road. Can you just give what in your mind, what are some of the things that really made a difference for you in bringing your body, and I like how you said that, back into balance, that it wasn't about finding a cure, but it was giving you something where your ecosystem could do the divine tactics that the human body does to be well.
Yeah. So I think the biggest shift that like really shifted everything was Switzerland, was those stem cells.
Mm-hmm.
And then the amp coil, we got the amp coil the same time that I got home from Switzerland. So between the two of them, I think they both kind of helped connect things and bring my body into balance. My diet, starting to eat what I feel is good for my body, was definitely something really important. But I think the biggest thing is really just like allowing myself to do the things that I enjoy and allowing endorphins to run through my brain, sailing and traveling and rolling around in the grass or whatever it is that makes me feel like a child, like alive, like I deserve to live. That really ignites healing inside. I think that ignites your body's ability to be like, okay, I'm safe. I can do the work that I need to do to keep myself healthy.
So what did it take for you to trust and believe that you had that right to experience joy when all you wanted to do is retreat to your bed?
Oh God, I don't know. I think it was lots and lots of constant support and love. I think being surrounded by really amazing people who told me that they wanted me to get better and to thrive. But I think inside I had to kind of figure out like, what is life for? Like, why am I here for myself or am I here for others? Why do I want to keep going? And I think I want to keep going because I definitely feel like there's something inside me I want to share. I want to help other people in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that, I have to be in a healthy state for that to become a reality. And if I can think of this new life and this new sense of aliveness that I want to feel, then it's already coming. Like the minute you start thinking about it and you start desiring that, whatever it is, well, health, happiness, love, a car, it's already on its way. It's the minute you decide that you're going to live in that place of creating and healing, it's already there. So that it was a shift, but it was a shift that was meant to happen. And it was a shift that less of a decision and more of an allowance, like more of I'm going to allow myself to heal. I'm going to stop fighting. I'm going to allow myself to exist in this really beautiful space of creation.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful, Allie. You know, we had been in communication over the summer, and I know you were in debate over what you wanted to do because you had been accepted into a few college programs all over the world, and you had this choice of one of them was Hawaii. And I remember us having a conversation. You were really unsure what you wanted to do, and you didn't know if it was the right choice, and you were so frustrated. You remember that?
Yes, and I'm not sure I can confidently tell you that too much has changed. But I have been sitting with a lot of unease about the unknown, a lot of being unsure, being confused. Like, what is it I'm supposed to do? Am I supposed to go to school in Hawaii? Am I supposed to go to school in San Diego? Am I supposed to buy a flight to Costa Rica? What is it? Like, I want to know. Like, I have this really, I think it's part of my young age and my very type A personality in a sense. I just want to know. Like, I would just like to know, like, show me what to create. I don't know, I'll create it. Just let me know. Mm-hmm. And I think that I've started to realize, honestly, in the last few weeks, that it's okay to not know, and that it's more important to be focusing on your inner being and how you're doing. And when you are blessed with the information of what you are meant to create, you have the soil, you have the grounds to grow whatever it is that you want to grow. It's okay not to be completely sure of if studying biology in Hawaii is the right decision for me. I have kind of a reassuring feeling that I'm meant to be where I am right now, and that the more work and the more time I spend loving and cultivating that soil, that garden within myself, I will be led to what I'm supposed to do. Ultimately, I have no choice. It's going to happen. I just have to keep doing the work right here, right now.
Well, I think it's it's a great testimony to you, your inner strength. It's a great testimony to your family, who I know intimately. I'm actually at your house recording this podcast. You know, at 19, I can't tell you like the idiot thoughts I was thinking. And you wrote a text in the last few days to your mom. And it just like, I'm going to read it on the podcast. And it like knocked my socks off because I couldn't believe what I was hearing from a 19-year-old young lady and how deep and profound the words were that you were using. You know, I was filled with confidence for the next generation. It was really incredible. And, you know, I'm going to end the podcast with that, but I want, you know, you said one thing, one of the biggest keys to you moving forward was having this constant support of love and family and reassurance, your family reminding you that you could walk even though you were bedridden with neurological Lyme. what would you say to somebody out there going through this right now that doesn't necessarily have that immediate support system in place? Like, where do you look?
Within, I think that, I mean, it's hard for me to say that because it's hard to put myself in that position. But within, you have a lot of strength and support inside you. We're all so capable and so powerful and so pure. And we have the power to support and love ourselves. It's hard to remember that. It's really hard. But these moments where the pain is so bad that you can't move and you just want to give up, those moments are there to show you how much love you have inside you.
That's amazing. Well, you're a busy college student, so I want to let you go back to work. And I told you I'd only take 10 minutes of your time, but I think what you've had to say, and again, some of the things you wrote about aligning the chakras and letting that nervous energy flow through your body and let that be the clue to what's next or where to move to, especially with your thoughts, is really profound. And I think I'm excited for you to get more of what you're doing out into the world, whether it's your art, whether it's spoken word, because it's going to help people. And you don't have to worry about this is my free coaching here. You don't have to worry about what's coming next. You don't have to worry about what's coming next because you've got this time in college that you can cultivate, and you don't need to know right now. You're like you said, you're this sponge who's went through a lot of time of trauma, and now you have this time to just soak up education and information and people and personalities in different parts of the world. And you're like so blessed to do that. You're so blessed to be able to be well enough to be at college on the other side of the world, that this is all like, again, it's just putting nutrients in the soil, and whatever grows out of that, it's going to be magical. So I celebrate you, and thank you for being on the podcast. And
thank you for having me.
So what an inspiring young lady. And I know you're going to hear more from her. And as promised, I had just got a few seconds ago, the download from Allie and her passage titled Yellow Power. The solar plexus, the third plexus, the power center, self-esteem house, our will, where play and power collide and where magic happens. Lately, I've been incredibly in awe of the color yellow, of sunshine and sparkles and joy. Joy. Where and how can I create and feel and bask in more of it? I am realizing it's soul time. It's all about the light inside beginning to truly burn super bright. There's a reason I want to eat mangoes and to paint yellow pictures. There's a reason every sunflower I see makes my heart skip a beat. It's time to shine. We all have this life force, this beautiful, unique energy so pure and special that when it surrounds us and shines brightly from within, we cannot help but feel whole and feel enough. My whole life, parts of this chakra were out of balance. Most of the time, I lived in a place of lack. The moments where I may have felt whole or fulfilled were normally taken quickly by dark indirection. But it feels like the tides are turning. It feels like I am finally allowed to exist into who and what I am. Stardust, just like all of us. There's an incredible download of energy coming. Earth is literally vibrating with awareness. We are being called to shine, to blaze right past our insecurities, feel our humanness and our light, and exist in the space in between the golden angels and the watery earth. Why am I sharing this? Because for the first time, I'm not afraid of this. I'm not afraid of this energy. I'm not afraid to share. I've been so obsessed with finding my purpose and discovering what exactly it is I'm meant to do on this earth that it blinds me from the love and the beauty around me. It separates me from the gentle, sweet elements, these things that seem to inspire a sense of knowing and peace within. an endless search that is so driven by the brain, I become disconnected from the fire within. The third chakra is all about purpose and fire and what brings you alive. But the beauty is that it doesn't always need to be known. Our purpose and what we may or may not be here to do will become clear, and it does not divulge itself when we're in this place of lack. The seed of our purpose lies in the bright light emanating from within. If you feel called to love exactly who you are at this moment, I invite you to smile and dance and sing and run and swim. Roll around in the grass and let sand cover yourself in flowers or lie naked in the sun. If we do what makes us feel the most alive, celestine and pure, and we can activate our Manipura, our purpose will follow. Our light will blaze a path in the darkness, leading us right to where we were meant to be. If you've been feeling anxious lately or sitting with unease about the unknown, it's just a call into your core. It's just a bunch of energy flowing within and calling you to shine. Each moment isn't perfect, and we're all still human bundles of messiness. But more and more, when moments of insecurity and unfulfillment arise, the search for remembering my wholeness is made clear. It is always a dive inside the depths where the light flickers like the one on the oceans, as the moon dances across the darkness. As every ray of light pokes out, we feel our feelings and let them release. We are doing it. You, me, we are doing it. And we are very much alive, whole, and bright. From the light inside me to the light inside you, I see you. You are beautiful. Thank you for sharing and sharing your magic with this world. Ladies and gentlemen, Whelehan, I'm lit up. I'm inspired. I'm ready to go shift some things and see what additional bandwidth I can pull in and work on this chakra. I'm so excited you guys stuck around for this episode. Again, this stuff is magic. I hope you jive with it, and I hope it moves you to a place of action. Namaste. Ladies and gentlemen, you made it to the end of the podcast. Now, in a world where the average attention span is less than 10 seconds, we just spent almost an hour together. And I think this is the beginning of something really beautiful. Now, one way to support the podcast is to head over to FreddieSetGo.com and check out my newly launched page, Freddie's Faves, where I've linked every 5-star product and healing modality you hear about on the show. Most offer significant discounts by clicking the link. And please know, it doesn't cost you anything extra, and at the same time, they support the show through affiliation. So, check out Freddie's Faves on FreddieSetGo.com. This episode of the Beautifully Broken podcast was brought to you by our sponsor, AmpCoil, upgrading the vibrations of hearts, minds, and bodies all over the world. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's show, head over to iTunes and leave a 5-star review. Grabbing a download is like giving this virtual thumbs up that we're doing it right. And if you want to connect with me, shoot me a message on Instagram at FreddieSetGo.com or at FreddieSetGo. That's all for today. Our closing. The world is hurting. We need you at your very best. So take the steps today to always be upgrading, whatever it takes to move the needle. Remember, while life is pain, putting those fractured pieces back together is a beautiful process. I'm your host. I love you. Namaste. Have a wonderful day.
American Giant makes great clothing, sweatshirts, jeans, and more right here in the U.S. Visit American-Giant.com and get 20% off your first order with code STAPLE20. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com, code STAPLE20.